Ichitanga tulipo tulima shapa
Mtame kenezi na lange Dinofe buka na kange Bima dalo bima pale Sheke wachuka potoshi Telele damu jevete skafale Gengo wa jogo Tocho tokelele Ngao ni pull up before it Don't my niggas before it Dala ndi tote pe pangelo Dalo mijita di kalemo Tulimo shop Ngepu no plan Kwa felo zali kwa mandelo Mofito kola di kaleko.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the No-Cap Podcast in 2025. I know it's been a minute since we last did an episode, and I know how much everyone has been asking, like, no, bring back the podcast, bring back the podcast. Now the podcast is back. More consistent, in a different space, quality has improved, sound has improved. Man, I'm so excited about all the interviews and special episodes we're going to be bringing you. So for our first episode today, no pun intended, we have a special guest in the studio who goes by the name Today Momo. Today, welcome to the No-Cap Podcast, my brother.
Thanks for having me, Maji.
Alright, cool. Again, like I said, we're just going to have a conversation. Let's pretend the camera's not here. It looks like how we meet at Static and then we just start drinking and having a good time. Yeah, but first of all, tell me about yourself. Like, who are you? I mean, we just know Today on Instagram or Today when we see Today at Static, but who's Today exactly?
Young my nigga, you don't even make me comfortable to just jump into the...
Why are you gay?
Okay, so Today is it's a basic guide. Mm-hmm. Basically, I grew up in Windhoek. Was naturally born in the north. Mm-hmm. I don't know, you want my whole life story?
Yeah, no, we have time.
Okay, so basically I schooled at Namtuni Primary School.
Shout out.
I started attending there when I was grade 2, and then after that I moved on to Yanyunger Afrikaner. I stay in Kuyangava, still do, by the way. After that I went to university, the University of Namibia. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so just for some background, coincidentally, me and this man went to the same primary school.
I don't know this nigga.
Yeah, he's going to deny me in front of everyone else. But so tell me, when you went to, I think primary school we were together, and then obviously when you went to high school, you went to a different high school, and then you went to varsity. So I don't know exactly, what were you studying when you went to varsity?
When I went to varsity, I did media, where I specialized in public relations and sociology. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I did an MBA, where I also specialized in marketing.
I didn't even know you have an MBA. All right, okay. So currently now, like after varsity, when you graduated, what work do you do, like on a professional basis? Do you have something in what you studied, or are you doing something completely different?
I have something fairly in what I studied. Mm-hmm. I started off. Okay, I'll skip the whole growth part, but I was working for S02E01.
No, but if you were pushing boxes and packing stuff, we want to hear it, man. Let's see, because you see the thing why I like sort of a background story, right? If someone sees you at a certain stage in your life and then they feel like, oh, it was handed to you or you just started there, it's always good for them to know, oh, this man started from the bottom and now he's here. I mean, if you're still at the bottom, at least they can see, oh, the struggle is real, and at least what you're doing to improve yourself or to get to a better position in your life.
Yeah, you're right. I was unpacking and packing boxes. So my first job was with Pep Stores at La France. So when it opened, it was one of the first employment I got. I was still in varsity back then. Mm-hmm. And after that, I went into camera work, where I used to do videography and photography for a company named After School Multimedia. So that kind of gave me a base in terms of income. But at the same time, also experience. There are things that I don't teach you in school, like editing, filming, and so forth. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that's how I ended up studying media. After that, I did an internship with the National Road Safety Council. Then I got my official first job that I can actually call a job that relates to what I studied, which was at which was at SOS Children's Villages. Mm-hmm. At first I went in, I was the National Youth Development Coordinator, and then after that I became the head of fundraising and communications. Then I was poached by the UNAM Foundation, which is it's basically an NGO owned by UNAM for fundraising. So I coordinate their fundraising plus their communications.
So currently, what do you do now? Is that where you are?
Currently I'm the coordinator of fundraising and communications.
Kurangava boys are up. Yeah. For anyone who's, like students, or let me say learners who finish high school and never know what career path to take, would you advise someone to pursue media and to pursue what you were doing? Or based on your experience, obviously looking back at how you did back in school in terms of, were you managing with the books? Was it something difficult? What level of commitment was required? Is it something you would advise someone who just finished grade 12 and don't know exactly what they want to pursue in life to do?
Media, definitely. Communication experts and then public relation and marketing coordinators, those are not the scapegoats, but those are the image and the branding of the organization.
True.
So they'll always be needed in whatever entity that you bring up. But at the same time, also, it is advisable that I think us as a black child, we're not really exposed in a sense that like assessment is done at an early phase so that people can figure out what you are good at. Our parents just want us to become teachers, policemen, and so forth, but they don't really put that extra mile in that maybe this person is supposed to be a diesel mech, maybe they are good with their hands and so forth. So I think each person is entitled to their own option. So if you feel like you want to do, I don't know, psychology or whatever, as long as you are happy with what you did, there is always a space for you within that market for you to function in.
Now it's just starting to hit me. Sometime last year, I was doing a comedy show, and I wanted you to help me to plug me with whoever designs your posters, because I always see, hey, this man's posters. Every time you make an ad, like the posters are fire. So I was like, who designs these things? And then you were like, no, me. Now I'm like, when did this guy even learn Photoshop or Illustrator, or like what do you even use to design your posters?
Yeah, it's mostly Adobe product. So it's Photoshop, sometimes it's Illustrator. It depends. The video is mostly Premiere Pro, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I see. Like, top. Like, they're very creative. But like, how long did it take you to grasp now, like, these products? Because obviously, I don't think it's products started using in varsity. You started using probably in the industry.
It takes you a while, but also it depends on how intrigued you are by the whole product. Personally, I learned on YouTube. So when I got my first camera, I had a camera, but now the question was like how to use this camera, how to edit, how to do what. Basically, even the software itself, where to get it. Because you can't afford Photoshop, obviously, as a student or as an unemployed person. So
we're not encouraging piracy.
But then that was the case. So I think YouTube, it takes some time and patience. I know I used to kind of work on it, like I would start immediately at 12 when the happy hour starts. Then I'll go to sleep at 6.
The struggles, eh?
Then I'll go to sleep at 6. So probably for a whole good year, I was just on that routine until I was like good on it. And also it takes a lot of practice. You need to play around with the software for you to understand it and so forth. I remember I was asking one of the directors, he's telling me, but then I was doing music videos, so he's telling me, if you want that dramatic type of transition, you must cut the video frame by frame. I'm looking for an effect called frame by frame. I'm even getting frame by frame. So after a few hours, then you realize, the nigga means zoom it out and cut it out. So
frame by frame. Solid. Because because I'm now from an IT background, and you always assume like, oh, I'm from IT, so I tried Illustrator, I tried Photoshop. Honestly, it's so difficult. And even when I try to follow like a YouTube tutorial, you just, here and there you can, but the end product, if you follow a tutorial, obviously you're trying to do what they're doing. But when you're like, okay, let me use my imagination and create something different, it's a whole complete different story. So yeah, I understand, like, it really requires a lot of practice. But yeah, so currently now you own and manage. Okay, you don't manage. You're just the owner of Static, which is a restaurant during the day, and a club, I'm assuming, or what do you call it again? It's a lounge. Okay, yeah. How did you get into that? Let's start. How did you get into that first of all?
For me to tell you that story, you need to have time. So, it starts way back, my guy. So like the top in it. He used to work for an entity, I won't mention it.
Okay.
So now he was a mechanic for that specific entity. So they'll give him like the grease removers. So he would kind of affirmatively repossess those shandies,
Okay.
bring them home, and then he would tell me, my guy, you need to go out and sell these things.
Oh.
So me and my sister always go out and sell the grease removers, and then I
Wait,
think
sorry, at which point in your life is this? Like, where are you, like, in terms of your career, school, just to take
I
you
think
back?
that's grade 3.
Justice.
Yeah, it's way back.
Started from the bottom. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
right, cool.
it's way back. So now this guy says one is $2.50. And then my sister taught me the business. Shout out to Dr. Amomo, by the way. She taught me the business in terms of if he needs $2.50, get the 50 cents for yourself.
Okay.
So since then, I think for the next 6 years, I'm selling those shandies. And then after that, I migrate into other things. There's a topic we used to stay in your street. We had a bar.
Yeah.
So that G was like, listen, I need a bar license. Back then, the city of Window was very strict in terms of Shabin serving bar licenses.
Yep.
So after running around, I got it, and he asked me, what do you want? And that's how I ended up buying a camera.
Oh, okay.
Because then I was like, it's either swag to go to school or something that can kind of generate something for me.
All right.
Yeah, and then for the next 3-4 years, I've been in other businesses. I owned a bar, owned gambling machines. Oh, that's a funny story.
I like funny stories. I like funny stories.
Yeah, and I went into car parts, and then finally I ended up investing in static.
Hey, you've done it all, eh?
Yeah, I've basically most of the Katutura businesses. I had a car wash also. Most of the Katutura businesses, like the low end SMEs, I've actually moved in those ones, and I've kind of grasped that experience. So one day, a friend of mine comes to me and he says, "Yo, you always say if there's an opportunity for you to invest, kindly do so."
Sorry.
So there's a place in town. I don't know if the old garden.
Yeah.
So they secured that in terms of opening up something, like the lease. So they're paying rent, and they asked me, what do you want to bring up? I said, I can do something with the Hubblies and the vapes and so forth. Yeah. So put down the payment, and then down the line, probably 10 months or so, we realized the paper's not okay.
Oh, okay.
Like in terms of City of Windhoek and all that legislation stuff.
Yeah.
So we called it quit. And after 3 weeks, this John comes back again. Listen, man, I got another place. Just there by game. Let's just go check it out. So we went there. I'm looking at this place, and this guy is very optimistic. He's like, we just put what here. We just put what here. I won't lie to you. I did not have a lot of faith.
You didn't see the vision.
I didn't see that vision.
You didn't see the vision. Oh,
Yeah, but we started demolishing the walls, and we built most of it ourselves. We started demolishing the walls. We started putting it, laying it out. And I think it's time when I also just fell in love with the project, because now it became personal, because we were the actual people working on it. Yeah, so yeah.
So like in terms of, I mean, I don't want you to give me actual figures. You could like have a marker to say like north of $500,000. How much money did you guys put down so far to make the place look as cool as it is, and to have the establishment be at the level that it is? Because now obviously you guys are competing with the best places out there, you know. I mean, I go there because we are brass, but not even if I didn't know you, or even if you're not there, I'll be at the spot because I'm like, it's a decent place, and I not even decent is an understatement. The place is dope. So I'm just looking at it from a perspective of someone who wants to get in that line of business, right? What are you looking at to start an establishment at that caliber?
You need to have your guap right.
Okay, so when you say guap right, is how much? Do I sell my Donkey Botswana and I'm in there, or I just need like an estimated figure?
So when we did the first one, the initial one, it was over $500,000.
Just the bottom part without the upstairs, right?
Just the bottom part without the upstairs.
Jeez.
Then to come back on the upstairs again, you are roughly running at 8 to mil. So
sure, you heard it here first, guys. You hear it.
You need to have your guap. There was even a point where, and you know, the alcohol business is not easy. That's why you see we are more onto food also. We are trying to build something bigger than just something that is just there for pumping. We're trying to create memories. So. I think over in the long run, when you put in this money also, it doesn't go in at once. You can probably agree now that let's say 600 together, let's start something.
Yeah.
But then you start realizing that what is required for you to actually put it to the standard where you want it, it's way more than that.
Right.
I remember even when we did the sound system, we had a budget like in our breakdown, I think of 15,000 or something like that. We ended up spending over 50,000 on the dancers. Yeah. So.
You know,
not to discourage anyone.
Yeah,
I mean, you can always start off small. You can always start.
Definitely.
Like we started with the bottom and we grew up. So,
you know, I want actually just to, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? To congratulate you and, you know, just to commend you guys, because I remember one time, and this is looking at how bad the you know, unemployment situation is in the country, where you guys advertised a few positions. I can't remember how many the exact number was, but the amount of people that showed up, my goodness, like that line started from game all the way to that little gap where the vehicles drive when they come in at night. And then I was just like, it just goes to show like how many people are out there that don't have jobs, you know. And it's just waitressing vacancies that you guys put out. So, but the fact that that you guys are creating employment and, you know, helping feeding families, I really need to give you guys a shout out for that one.
Thanks, man. And I think also that's what keeps us going. The fact that, you know, you have over 30 people that have to feed their families every end of the month. You need to do right by them also. So
you guys have a staff complement of over 30 people now.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow, man. Shout out.
That's excluding some of the people who just come
and go. Yeah. Shout out, man. Shout out. That's very impressive. Yeah. And I mean, like, look again. Like I said, you guys must just keep doing what you're doing. And I, for one, am impressed. The fact that I know this guy from the hood, and the fact that you are an employer, because you don't know what a job. The magnitude of the effect that comes from someone having a job is, right? Because like just from your waitressing job or being a bouncer at the door, someone can pay their rent. If they are living at home, maybe they are paying for their tuition, or you have a sibling who's in school and struggling, and you can help them out. So yeah, no, that's good, man.
And you see it unfold also sometimes when some of your colleagues kind of graduate, and then they invite you, and then they show that appreciation that listen, me working there was not to say that it was my end goal. It was just for me to kind of go through this situation. You also see that change in society and those people when they come to you. So it's also fulfilling.
Solid. But okay, I mean, I can imagine, right? Oh, I've tried to own a bar at some point also. You remember we used to have Sanek? And shout out Sanek. It's a very stressful line of business, especially the alcohol part, where you have to deal with drunk customers, and you know, it also cuts down into your own personal time, where you have certain friends who like, no, come to the sport, man, we want to chill with you, and you probably have some family time planned for yourself and whatnot. How do you deal with the stress that comes with managing a business like this, and also how do you balance your time in your life, you know?
So I think there are things that people can do and things that people can do. So what we have done is kind of remove the things that people can do, and those the ones that we need to governance the business for the best interest of the organization. And then we kind of not outsource, but we delegated some of those tasks to the colleagues who are already there. That's for self-learning and empowerment also.
True.
And then from our side, for example, I would do marketing, bookings, event planning, and so forth. But I still have somebody that supports me in that regard. So basically, probably you'll see that every day at lunch I'm there. I'm probably doing something there. Yeah. And then my other colleague is more into operations, oversight, the kitchen, and all that. So I think it's you learn to live with it, man. When you come from nothing, that's a walk in the park, because I mean, taking an hour or two every day from your schedule, from your daily schedule, to kind of just attend to those things, I don't think it's a lot of time to sacrifice.
No, I totally hear you. I mean, based on your life story and coming from, you know, selling grease removers and having a car wash and all this, it's like you've done the dirtiest of businesses that you can possibly do. So all right, cool. But now, you see, and this is maybe just the wrong observation, right? When you leave, you know, when I look at you, I don't know if you've ever seen Power. Have you ever seen the series Power, the original Ghost Power? Yeah, when I look at you, I see Ghost, man. Because you're like a buff guy who lifts weight, is a club owner. Owning a sport like that comes with a lot of, you know, temptations with the ladies. How do you manage, you know, because like, even Huns I'm sure at Namtuni that didn't like you or check you or when you went to Yanyonker, now when they see you pull up in your Beamer, or even though you had it before the club, they're saying, and now they see, oh no, this guy is the owner. How do you manage that? I mean, also like access becomes very easy, because one thing is guaranteed, right? The Huns will be outside, especially on a Friday, Wednesday night, you know. How do you balance that? Or you just, everyone who tries, they shall receive.
My bro, get drunk.
What?
The moment you are lit, you don't have time for those things. No, I'm just playing. I think there's something about me. I'm socially awkward. In case, like when there's a lot of people,
Yeah.
I always tend to be in my own corner, and that's why I always have shades on and all that.
Yeah.
And people mistake that for rudeness,
Okay.
which plays in my favor because now even if I'm there,
Yeah.
nobody will really bother you or approach you because they say you are unapproachable, which is I think what saves me most of these little temptations.
But I know there's Hans from Windhoek, brother. So maybe in that setting they don't, but don't they like hit you up on the DMs? Because you know, like when you create the posters and you tag their friends and...
Yeah, no, the DMs, they are there, but... what do you want, my G?
I'm just asking how you manage. How do you manage? Yeah?
No, I think you just be polite, man.
Yeah, you just leave them on red.
God said, these are my people, take care of them. So...
What do you mean? How do you take care of them? All right, cool. Now, easy. Currently, right? Are you in a relationship? Are you seeing someone?
Yeah.
Are you a single brother?
No, I'm in a relationship.
Away.
Actually getting married soon.
Ouch. Man, shout out, man.
Yeah.
The pressure is getting worse.
I'm just playing. I'm not getting married soon. But
You had me there.
I'm definitely.
Yeah, no. I mean, I saw what girls used to do to Tasha. There's no way you're getting married anytime soon. Just a joke. Okay, cool. Oh, so you're in a relationship. Do you have a kid?
Yeah.
1, 2?
I won.
1. Ah, cool. Shout out. Nice.
Little big boy, man.
How's your
8 months now.
8 months.
Yeah, fresh out of the oven.
No, you said big boy. I thought homie's running around. He's already going to school. Yeah. And how's that? The life of being a father for you?
Yo.
The homie said, I need
Stuff,
a sip.
man.
You need a sip. Do you want something stronger for this one?
That will help.
Yeah.
But it's tough, especially being a first-time dad. But also, I kind of brought up my nieces and all that. So it's like business as usual. But the only thing that I find challenging
Everything is just business.
Yeah, but I think my son stays with the mom and they are from Havers.
Oh, okay.
So that distance sometimes gets to you. Like you want to fit in, like you are saying now, the business aspect, the work aspect.
Yeah.
Then you have other routines that you need to do during the day, and then now you have this person who's like 400 kilometers away. So that sometimes becomes a bit tricky.
I can imagine. But I'm assuming, being the guy you are in touch with. Because what I hate is having people I know of, people I consider to be friends that are deadbeats. But I'm somewhat appreciative of this generation of us when guys who are round about, our age circle, when they have kids, they are really there. And I personally try to distance myself from niggas who you have a child and you just, But I can't fathom how. I mean, I like to have a good time also, but I can't fathom how you are popping bottles in the club, but you can't just do the basics for your lighty, even if you're not actively there, at least just still feed the lighty itiki man,
Like who must feed your nut? Take care of your child, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So there was one time, right? What I try to avoid is, and I said this with my colleague T.K. that we do the podcast with. We said when we started the podcast, we are not trying to start a gossip column or whatever. So generally, I myself, I don't follow gossip pages. We go through my Instagram, whatever. But I remember there was one screenshot that was being posted everywhere on WhatsApp and whatever. It said today. And I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember what it said exactly. And the only reason I say it was because it was on WhatsApp. Someone said today, Paige, Andrew, those guys. They will buy bottles, what, but those guys are stingy. They'll never give a woman anything, And I'm like, can't be my homies, man. Not homies from Okurangava.
Nah, man. Okurangava boys don't do that, bro.
Okay, no, so
I'll stand on that one. So it was a biggest, man, when you got that screenshot.
Yeah.
I'm also not into gossip pages.
Yeah.
I don't waste my time with them, but that one really caught me, but because I'm now wondering, there are 2 todays. I'm like, which today is this? Yeah. Then I read page, I'm like, there are 2 pages. I know which page is this.
Then I read
Andrew,
you're like, oh, the circle kept getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, but they are right. I think
they're right.
We are Kuyangaba boys. We are fine boys. We have no reason to pay a woman for whatever they are doing. And I always say, if you have a business, register your business, drop the business card. We'll support you. We like empowering local businesses.
Yeah. But how are you? How are you? Supposed to the podcast. Yeah. How are you in a relationship sense? Like how do you deal with a relationship? What kind of a guy are you? Are you the type where I'm gonna just send you money and I take care of you, but I'm not really affectionate? Are you, both I'm sending you flowers. I'm there. I'm actively. You have an issue. I make time for you. What kind of a guy are you? Like romantic? Are you even romantic at all, or you just see the hand when it's time to clap cheeks? You know. That one is like I don't know how do I answer this one.
I lost emotion somewhere during my life. Probably it's the way I grew up. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
It's something I'm trying to work on, but I'm not a romantic type. I'm not like your typical take you a bunch of flowers, take you to where to. And I always go like, I can't spoil another man's child. Like not in a bad way, but in a sense of this money would have used it for something else.
Yeah.
You know, like you get these girls, buy me a Vev, and I'm like, show me your account. If you have like enough to buy a Vev, I'll buy you a Vev.
Fresh.
Yeah, because you want a Vev, but you don't even have probably 500 in your account. So I always try to kind of better people. Yeah. In terms of, even if it's my own girl, there's always that thing of, there's always hunger in a man. Like you always want more, you always want to do more before you kind of get to that. And I think it's something that I need to work on, because I always assume they said tomorrow, which might not be the case. Yeah, but I'm not, there's 0% romance in my bones.
That is tough. But is it something, now that you mention it, that you wanna like improve on, or it's just like this is who I am, this is my character, and I'm fine by it. If you are in relationship with me, I tell you this upfront, you accept it or you don't. Like, or is it something you're like, I wanna, improve on or work on? Not to say that there's a certain or there's a right way of being in a relationship.
Also, it's something I'm working on. I don't know when I'll get it right, but eventually, yeah.
No way. Yeah. I mean, it's life, and people are different, and we handle things differently.
And also, we love differently. So
True.
Me buying you this and that, or me taking you out. Okay, taking out is something common, but like when, like I still can't comprehend when you say romance. Yeah. Now that you said it, what do you actually mean?
Are you asking from
your point of view?
Okay, I mean, there are a few things to consider, right? There's generally a way in which you as a man, you treat a woman, right? And again, it's so important when you say, sometimes it reflects to how you grew up and the kind of lifestyle you have. Like I personally, I like to be in cuddles, I like to smooch. I want to buy my woman flowers. When she needs help, I'm there to help her. Yeah. But also, it's important what you said, right? To say, as a man, you must try to empower your woman, not only to just give hand over and whatnot. Yeah. So, I mean, romance there's so many angles to it, right? True. Because it depends. Like, let's say, for instance, also the dynamics of your relationship. You could be dating someone who's in school. You could be dating someone who's employed or unemployed. So, depending, there's a physical aspect to it. There's an emotional aspect to it. Then there's a financial aspect to it. So again, depending on the dynamics, you see how far you can come. Because if let's say my partner is employed and they make more than me, or at least they make some kind of money, then they probably don't expect me to do so much for them financially. Yeah. And also there's this thing of love languages in terms of how you love. True. Like I'm a physical touch guy. Like I said, I want to be in there nice. Yeah. So it depends on how you are. I don't know. Do you have a love language?
Yeah, I think it's the same.
The same, yeah?
But then not that PDA type of aspect of it, but the physical touch, definitely.
Oh, yeah, fresh. Yeah. Have you ever cried over a woman in your life? Like, have you ever been heartbroken?
Young ones.
Yeah?
Hey. For the first time, I almost fought with my dad. And my dad is one of those niggas who just touch you fast. Yeah. This one, bro. Yeah.
She did you bad.
She did me bad, and but again, like when you're not privileged to an extent where you take that too serious. All it required was like a 5 liter, what do you call it? 4 Street, fresh.
5 liter 4 Street wine.
Yeah, good, bro.
Oh, sure.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think we've spoken a lot, and we've covered a lot. I think a few things that I want to take away from this episode. And again, it takes me back to what you guys are doing, the impact you bring into society, creating job opportunities, helping people improve their lives. Like you said, there are people who work for you guys, who are they don't necessarily want to be there, or that's not the type of work they want to do, but it's a stepping stone. So they are using it to pay for their studies and then graduate and then look for something else. Because like with the current situation, there will always be someone to replace them. So I think for me that is like very, very commendable and very important, and that's like one thing that I appreciate from you. And I think that's pretty much to wrap up the episode, and I appreciate your time because I don't think, like you said, probably not the comfortable situation or the type of something you'd want to be doing, but the fact that you took your time, so that I appreciate. And also at least we gave the viewer some content. I don't know if you have any last words for the people that watch the podcast, your supporters, and like your clientele, everyone that shows up to Static every other day when they come through.
Yeah, I think basically it's appreciation. This on Static's behalf. And I always say it's not a today's business. It's not my other partner's business. It's basically a community type of empowerment, not only for us, but then for the whole society that is involved, man. The people who come have fun there, the people who work there. It's something that we are trying to grow, and we appreciate all the support that we get. For all the people that say I'm rude, I'm not rude. I'm just I'm just a very social, awkward guy. So it's always okay to say hi. I'll greet back. It's not like I'm gonna kiss you out or anything like that. And then for the podcast, I think you guys are doing something amazing. It's good to see our own local content creators kind of taking that sphere and owning it, despite the challenges of like the numbers that we have as a country and so forth. It still creates platforms for the younger generation to say that, if these guys could do this, why not us? So let's keep it up.
And when you mention younger generation, just to wrap up, it's maybe something we are not cognizant of. Like especially for people like you and I who come from places like Okurungava, there are these kids who grew up in the hood, and life choices are not really a lot, and life is hard, and they end up being spinners, grabbing phones, selling mirrors and whatever. But then when they see people like you and I, take a different route, not to say that we are rich or we have made it, to see that I can do something else beyond crime, it's also very motivating. So I think it's also something to keep also, people like you and myself motivated to push and to keep doing what we're doing. So I think we've come to the end of the first episode for this year of the No Care podcast. It's been good. If you've never been to Static, I advise you go have a good time. Tell Fessy Anani sent you. Shout out to Fessy from Static and from No Care podcast. That's been us, man. We out. Sure. Yeah.